What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. I made the first bit of my framelit. This week has been a weird one. It has been a very odd one. I haven't had time to come in and get as much done as I wanted to. And this is dragging on just a little bit. But I've been itching to do a frame for ages. And I've been watching videos and I've been reading up and I've been doing all sorts of stuff. But then when you actually come down to doing it, it's like, oh, bloody hell. It's a bit more scary than you think it's going to be. But we are giving it a go. So anyway, came up with a drawing, which is that one. And then that's what I made from my drawing. So I made the first bit of my frame. This is the swing arm pivot point. So the pin for the swing arm is going to go through there and we'll have tubes coming off top and bottom and blah, 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 blah. So that's the first bit done. That's just out of mild steel. So it's all weldable and everything else, which is cool. And I've also put the dummy engine back in for good reason. Basically, there is bugger all room on this. There is that. You'd think, oh, it's a doddle. You just take the breakaway out and you just lift the frame off the engine. No, you don't. There is a lot of monkeying about and squirreling and trying to get around the engine mounts and all sorts of stuff that goes on. And there's stupid bits that get clobbered on the engine as well as you're trying to put it in. There is very little room to wiggle that thing in there, even without the breakaway. So there are quite a few changes that's going to have to happen. Let me show you what I mean. Right, we're going freestyle-y for this bit. Oh, hang on. Let's. Can you see from there? Yeah. Okay. So that front bit of the engine there, basically where the cam chain and stuff comes down. If you can see, that sort of overhangs where the frame is, so you can't just oik it straight out like that. Okay. There's also another little cover. Where is he? This one. He sits on the top like that. So as you can see, he gets clobbered as well. And then at the back, we've got this big engine mount here. Trying to get the thing around that is a nightmare. And if you come down, there is very, very, very little room. This gets clobbered as you're putting it in, as you can see, because I took a chunk out of it, not that I care. That little engine tab down the bottom there, it's a dead short one. I don't know, can you see? It is really, really short. However, he gets in the way as well. And on the bottom, I haven't even got it on there, but there's a sump. So if you see this bottom frame rail here that just comes straight along, well, you've got all this lot here that sits underneath it as well. And that's quite chunky, so he gets clobbered too. So you have to kind of squirrel it all in and kind of move it about and everything else trying to get it in. And it's just a nightmare. So making a frame where it doesn't have a breakaway and I can get the engine in and out easily is going to be awkward. The sump, I think, is going to be less of a problem because the sump mounts and everything, yeah, the bolts and everything else is inboard of where the frame rails are. So as long as I don't go any narrower than that, which I'm not going to anyway because that would just look daft, then I should, if I have to, put the sump on afterwards. But I don't know, we're going to have to work it out. So what changes are we going to be making to this frame? Well, I've been looking at people building frames on Tinternet and all the rest of it, and they just like hold a bit of tea. Oh yeah, that'll do. Chop it there. Bosh, it's done. It's a bit different when it's your first one. I am pooing myself, and if I get it wrong, I get it wrong, and you'll just all be able to have a laugh. But I'm just trying to keep things simple in my own head. So if we start at the back and work our way forwards, there's bits I know are in the way and have to shift. They just have to, that's it. So that engine mount there, he's a problem child. He is properly a problem child. So he has to go. So what I might do is when I remake this bit, I'll leave that one as a fixed one and I'll just make this one removable. Because if the engine comes in from this side, I don't really care if that's there or not, basically. And the engine will come out this side anyway, because that's the side where the breakaway is. So, you know, there's nothing that's going to clobber it on that side. So that's all good. The ones at the bottom, they're like really short tabs. They may just stay as they are and I have to work around them. I haven't got to shift it much, but I do have to shift it, and if I need to make that bottom one removable, then I can do that as well. That's fine. We'll figure that out later. As far as the sump goes, he is a proper problem child because he is quite a chunky thing. So it may well be that the sump has to go on afterwards. I don't know. And I don't know how far the pickup goes either. I would imagine it's right the way to the bottom of that lowest bit, because that would just make sense, wouldn't it? But I have to have a look in the manual and see what's what. But the sump might be going on afterwards. But the bits that do need to move is that bit and that bit, because they is definitely clobbering and they stop you shifting the whole engine forward. So what I'm going to do is that tube there, he's going to move up probably the diameter of that tube. So he's going to sit up there. That gusset will disappear. And to try and put some of the strength back into it, I'm going to gusset up here as well. We're still going to be running these supporting members and the cross bit there and the cross bit down the front, because they're not in the way and they do add strength to it. And then this one, I'm probably going to move it down the steering stem a little bit, probably half that distance, because I need a bit of daylight to get around that bit. Because even if you think, you know, move the engine back to get around that, well, there's bugger all room. There is no room here. You know, I could move it back maybe 5 mil ish, something like, well, I need about 10 there. So that has to move forwards. That could cause problems as well in other areas, but I will get to that later. I just want to get something done. It does mean that these engine mounts is going to be a little bit longer, but I'll just make them out of thicker stuff. So it'll be... do you know what I mean? You see where I'm going with this? I need space to get the bugger in. All this lot does not help at all. But I don't know, we'll see, that's the plan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the engine out again, because it don't weigh much. And then I'm getting the angle grinder out and we're chopping all this lot off. I am chopping it up. I'm probably just going to chop it across there for now. And through that bottom tube. So the engine has definitely got to come out, just so I can lose from there up to there to just above where the swing arm is. And then all this lot. I mean, that's got a plate across the front. That's going to be a nightmare getting that out. But it's got to go. It's just in the way. Right, let's get the engine out. This happens all the time. I'll just get into something and then somebody bangs on the door. Fellas in the unit next door, they're building a dragster. It's going to be awesome. But they need a couple of bits making on my lathe for their steering. So I'm going to get that done. I'll be back in a sec. Right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Everybody on the yard just basically looks after anybody else. So if anybody needs a helping hand, they always get it. And these fellas needed some stuff doing, so that's what I did. Today is now the following day, partly because I did that. Top tip for anybody with a lathe. You know, when you're turning stuff, sometimes you get them long stringy bits of swarf instead of chips. Well, when you go to pick them up to stick them into the bin, make sure you're not stood on the other end, because they're like razor blades. Took a massive chunk out of this, claret everywhere, leaking like a sieve. Poor old Chuck Norris is covered in blood. Anyway, so yeah, I binned it off yesterday and I'm doing it today. But this is getting chopped up. I need to get this done. Right, extension lead, gloves. Right then, you're staying over there out of the way, because Sparks is about to go everywhere. Where do I start? Oh, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Right, is that disc gonna go? Right, I should get through there. I ain't gonna get in there. Oh, I don't know, that could work. Right, okay. Well, that's the first bit done. What was I going to say? These cross tubes that's running across here, they're thicker gauge than the stuff that's coming down the side. If you look at this is obviously a bit of the part of the breakaway. Used to go on like that. Chopped it through there. That's 2mm. This is 3mm going across here, so I'm going to need to get some more steel tube ordered before I can get all this finished. So anything that is going that way, I'm just going to make out of 3mm. That would seem to be the sensible plan. Half the trouble is just getting the bloody angle grinder in, because you can't go that way to chop through this one because this bit's in the way. You can't get all the way through that way because the disc ain't big enough. I haven't got a reciprocating saw or like an air hacksaw or anything. So you just end up like chopping off a bit so you can get in a bit further, to chop off another bit to get in a bit further so you can go all the way through the bit you want to cut off in the first place. It is mad. I've done it now though. This is a perfectly good frame. Nothing wrong with it. It's buggered now. Right. Well, the good news is, for anybody who's got a Bandit, although the welding is blobby and horrible as hell on the outside and it's not dressed out, they have got a fair amount of penetration. There are so many layers and stuff in here, it's just ridiculous though. But yeah, the welding looks horrible, but it's actually not that bad. There's an awful lot of it missing here though. Oh God. I'm using the wrong tool to do the job really. I shouldn't be using that at all. Really, this wants a reciprocating saw on it. Trouble is, because of all this like trellis work and stuff that's up the front here, you can't actually get the disc in all the way to cut through the tubes and stuff. So you just end up hacking off little bits and pieces and stuff. Wherever you can get something, you just have a lump off, and then you get in a bit further, and you just keep on going. But it is a proper bloody nightmare. However, it's pretty much there. All this lot is going to need to be dressed up and trimmed up and, you know, made to look nice before I start bending tube and sticking everything else back on. So that's got to take ages. This bit especially. But we's getting there. So a couple of little bits left. How far down? I might as well take that whole front bit out. Don't want to do that. Yeah, probably give me a bit more room, wouldn't it? Right. I need to move you, or you're getting it. Yeah, all the dust. Bench is covered. It's utter filth everywhere. I ended up just having to chop off lots of little bits. Oh, hello. Just couldn't get the disc in there anywhere, so it's all like jaggedy rough cuts and like bits like that everywhere. That can go in the bin. So all this lot does need to be dressed up. I will show you what I've done though. Right, so it is all jaggedy as hell, as you can see. However, all this lot, I've taken it as close as I dare with the angle grinder, because it's just trying to get in there to chomp stuff out. You just cannot because of the diameter of the disc. So all this bit is jagged as hell, but all that lot is going anyway. So's all this lot and all that lot. Where are you? You can't see. So literally all this lot will be going. However, I'm just doing this side first, the right side of the bike. So I'll dress all this down, get it down so it's just a steering stem tube. And that way I can start, you know, I can locate the tube that's going to go on there, at least get some tacks in place, and sort of work from there. The back has also been locked off. It's now sitting over there. I'll put my boss on. That is now going to form part and parcel of the new frame. So there's like a locating slug that goes in the middle, and then just wind a bolt all the way through into my jig. I have measured it again. Nothing has moved, which is dead good. So you know the jig is doing the do. But look, that's just off a slitting disc. How long it took just to chomp out that one side? Well, 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours of just cocking about, taking little bit by little bit, just because I haven't got a reciprocating saw. Oh, Magoo, you've done it again. So I've got to make a frame now, haven't I? Because I've buggered that one. Right, so plan is, see, I was really worried about just chomping into this frame and cutting it up. And I'm looking at this and there isn't going to be much left of this. The only thing of the original frame that is going to be left once all this is done is the steering stem, these side bits, down to about there, that bit and that bit. That's it. Everything else is being replaced. Oh God. So yeah, it's quite the undertaking. So I was dead worried about, you know, just like hacking it up and everything else. So I've been thinking about this for quite a long time and how I'm going to do it, and you know, trying to do it right and all that sort of stuff. And like they say, the first cut is the deepest. Well, it wasn't, because I had an old disc on there. But anyway, that's the most worrying one. But then as you come up here, you just get frustrated because you can't get the disc in there. I am going to have a look this week, because you can get, Rob was at work, he's got himself one, but it's like you know, those little finger sander things that you get that go on the air compressor. Well, you can get Axel ones of them. So I'm going to see if I can get one. Well, I'll have a word with him and see if it's any good. But just being able to zip through that and zip through that without all that cocking about would save hours. So I'm going to see if I can get one, because I've still got all that lot to chomp out, yeah, and all that lot, and it just makes things simpler. So anyway, plan is the frame is going to come out of the jig just so I can get in here and try and dress everything up. It's going to be hell on earth trying to do it with a, you know, with the flappy disc jobby thingy on the other grinder, sort of doing it all upside down. It is going to make a mess, but I've made a mess today anyway, so I don't really care. So I'll clean it all up, but I want this just to be a clean tube down here. I don't want any of this malarkey on it. And I've got underneath here where there was that sidebar, that's all needs to be cleaned up, and everything else as well. So if I can get all that lot dressed up, shove it back on the jig, stick the dummy engine cases in and bolt all that lot down, then I'll try and get all that lot done during the week. So next weekend on a Saturday, I can come in and start bending up tube, and we can see how close we get. I've already stuck the boss on. That's a little doohickey thing that I made. So that is that's the first part of my new frame, and it's in place. But it just gives me something to aim for. So basically I got from there out and down, along and up into that. I'm going to be measuring everything twice and checking everything and writing everything down, because I need to mirror that on the other side. The only difference being I've got this slug thing here. I've got to make up a slug to go in there, so for the side stand. It, you know, it needs to be like a tough bit of stuff. So I'll probably turn that up during the week at some point, and we can just have at it and crack on. And if I can get that flaming saw thing ordered and get him in, then that would all be quite good. This video is probably just going to end up an awful lot of music and sped up of me doing stuff. This week I have just got on with it. I've just got on with it. I just wanted to, you know, get my head down and crack on and see what I could get done, because time has been limited. So apologies if I haven't been yapping and all that, but you know, I need to get it done. The approach I'm taking is very much a step-by-step one. So we've had this side of the frame out. I'm going to clean it all up, then I'm going to replace it. And once I'm happy with it, then I'm going to chop something else off, clean all that up, and then replace that bit. And I want to get the right side done first, from headstock down to swing arm and back up to headstock again. And then I'll jump onto the other side and do the same there. It's just that way I can put engine in and out, and I can measure stuff and compare it to the other side, and I know that, you know, we're where we need to be. I want to get it done properly and well. I don't want to have to go back and redo stuff. Man in his van just drove past. They're all coming out today, aren't they? So that's the approach I'm taking. It takes as long as it takes. I've been watching a few channels on YouTube about people building bike frames and stuff, just to try and pick up some tips and whatnot. Honest to God, it looks like they get it done in a weekend. I ain't gonna. Not by a long shot. It takes as long as, I don't care. I really don't care. But it's just all that YouTube nonsense about, oh yeah, knock this up this afternoon. It's not that way at all. I am going to get one of those hacksaw jobbies, I think, just because it's going to make doing the other side an awful lot quicker and easier, because I've wasted so much time and I've caused huge amounts of mess. So, you know, to be fair, I have got a fair amount of tooling in here now, because I've just been, you know, chipping away and buying what I need when I need it and stuff. And it's all, you know, it's all useful, handy stuff. I use it all the time. And if I had one of them, I would have used it today, but I ain't. So I'm going to get one. I'll have a chat with Rob and see what his is like. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Do hope you're well and staying safe. And we will see you on the next one. Laters!